So, this is an unexpected video from me, but this one, I need to go ahead and address this one once and for all, because some people, you're gonna be like, oh, well, why is he gonna go ahead and address this? Like, isn't there anything problem with it? Well, let me explain. You see, in AFL right now, people are celebrating another Kyetra mark. This mark is very, and I mean very, important. We all know how Kyetra went ahead and broke and pretty much owns the single game receiving marks. Now has pretty much the best single game as a wide receiver in AFL history as of right now. Well, ever since joining the Colts, Amon was able to go ahead and throw to people more, and well, he wasn't as pressured as much. The point I'm trying to prove here is that basically people are, I'm gonna go ahead and confirm here, is that Kyetra went ahead and set another mark again, and this time he's passed every single this one's a really big one. So it's time to go ahead and hop to the video. So without further ado, break the huddle. Everyone, welcome back to another AFL update. This one is involving, yes, Kyetra right now. And Kyetra, it's basically something really big. Well, if you don't know about, if some of y'all may know about Kyetra, he's basically pretty much a really respected receiver, but pretty much everyone knows him as a QB. Well, Kyetra went ahead and had made it like a late season transition as he went ahead and moved to the Colts. In the late move, basically, pretty much teamed him up with Trippy Yelds, aka who people like to call Amon Manning. And I'm not gonna be biased. Manning has pretty much sort of a good season. It's just no one has really gotten ahead and jot his stats down. So your boy here went ahead and did some thinking, and actually went ahead and did some research. Just some AFL research team had maybe been surprised. All of you didn't know that that Kyetra earlier this season went ahead and went out and had the best receiving game the best game by a receiver in AFL history, as he went ahead and balled out, catching 27 passes for 675 yards and 9 touchdowns. That pretty much broke the mark set by the Eastbrook, and with his 8 receiving touchdowns and amassed 24 catches, 482 yards. Well, Well, he went ahead and went off again. He went off once again. As he ever since that big game, he's hit pretty much. He's still on a 100 receiving yard game streak. His most recent outing turning out going off to be a historical one, as he went up because in the game he had 9 catches for 182 yards and 4 touchdowns. Now those look like good numbers to you. Like it basically looks like typical wide receiver numbers when he's having an explosive day. But it's memorable because he went ahead and passed the marks. As he now has pretty much the most single season receptions, as he has 99. Which is basically, he breaks the record that's pretty much that was set by Slat. And he basically broke another big record pretty much early in the game, like earlier, like one of the early targets, was that, well, anyway, he entered the game with 90 catches, and he pretty much needed, and the 182 receiving yards. Basically, he was at 1,816 yards. He was basically eventually, pretty much everyone knew he was going to go ahead and break Slat's record. He did it tonight. No one was surprised there. No one expected him to steal the catch record from Slat. And the receiving touchdown single season record was also went ahead, and was also stolen, as the Eastbrook went ahead and had 30. Catch went ahead and broke the mark with 31. Now this comes with that's crazy news, because this is basically, when you talk about this man was last season was pretty much a quarterback. Yes, a QB. Now, people really tend to underestimate him. Now he's basically has been a 3-time consecutive Pro Bowler and is well on his way to becoming All-Pro this year, as he is a 3-time quarterback of the year. He's won an MVP, and he did win Defensive Back of the Year once. And note, this man basically has pretty much, remember, this man was a QB. Imagine this. If we all compare Juicy John to basically, like, overall, Juicy John's basically kind of is one guy. I'm going to go and mention this one. I mean, when you look at what John has done so far, he has put up pretty good, he's pretty much put up a pretty good amount of stats. And, well, it's overall, when you think about it, it's kind of scary. Like pretty much, we all know that, without about it, this man can basically go ahead. We all thought he was basically kind of like a one-man wrecking crew, but we got treated to something else to basically the whole thing. I mean, when you look at Juicy John's regular numbers, I'm just gonna tell you this though, it's basically kind of different. John, when you look at him in a regular season mode, which no one really goes ahead and really cares about anymore, besides those actual grinders. No. Me. I mean, I can tell you this though. He isn't on top of the leaderboards like no one else usually takes it. I mean, he's pretty much an experienced QB. He basically has thrown 100 in regular publics. He's thrown 118 touchdowns against 59 interceptions. We all know his mobility never seems to fail him. This man's basically scary to the fact that this man should be like a Larry Fitzgerald, like pretty much that type of scary. Like overall, people really seem to like to sleep on him, and that's just basically, it's not even my opinion. He's basically has thrown he has thrown more touchdowns than I ever had when I was basically playing career mode a lot back in the day when I was starting football universe. It's not really, like, overall, John's numbers are basically one thing. But on defense though, John mainly plays a defensive end, or I should say kind of like a pass rushing defenseman with some okay traces of linebacker. I mean, the linebacker part has served him well. I can tell you that for sure, because the man basically does so much. Like, he basically does so much. It's pretty much we don't like to overall talking about him in that way. We all know that when John isn't tested, this man could be scary. He fights to be legendary. He ain't like one of those fakers. He's just gonna let pretty much basically a few things take him on. I mean, you have to get, like, overall, learning the juicy way is one thing. Kyetra's basically turning down the clock and putting up impressive numbers in position that people were really concerned about, because everyone knew that Kyetra can play wide receivers. That people had that concern was that whether he just go ahead and be a hogger or not, and basically not do too much. Well, his hogging it is really helping out some people. I mean, it helped out Death to a point, but that dynasty team basically was kind of meh. And then also, another huge reminder of basically all of this is pretty much what everyone else has been able to go ahead and do. Overall, Kyetra's basically is creating his own way. He's like basically turning on the clock, showing that he's like Bill Belichick to a point. Like, he is basically trying to show that just because he's known as a QB, he can do damage anywhere else. You just gotta believe in him. And the hype train around him has been real. I mean, let's face it. His last few games, he went ahead and got over 2,000 yards receiving with the quarterback that is a rookie. Kind of. I mean, like I said, I'm no offense to Trippy. Basically, he has hardly any he didn't even play much collegiate college football as a QB. I can tell you that, because I was basically in college football last season. I basically kind of like watched all the games, mostly. And overall, things were not much that interesting. So overall shows that he is probably one of the more underrated guys in the league. And you'll see, well, the man basically kind of knows consistency to a solid point. So, what could that basically mean? That could basically mean, it can mean so many things. It'd be scary about what these guys, like, basically what they will be going ahead and going up against. And like I said, it's no doubt a doubt that Kaietra is a good player. He's basically probably the best, basically kind of like one of the best QBs to go ahead and embrace the NFL field. So if basically people go ahead and do it like that, it could be turned out to be very scary. So this can mean so many things. But there are people that are going to be going ahead and trying to go and, well, try to go ahead and test to see if they're basically are pretty much really good. I mean, overall, the league, it can be, like I said, overall, these can be different to a point. But I really think that, if you ask me, they should just go ahead and actually start looking at other ways to go ahead and pretty much pretty much, like, overall, the pass hype is real. I understand. It's just, when you think about, I'm thinking about it, it's just, one thing that worries me is that there's going to be a hot shot receiver that doesn't have to take the stamps. And usually, the NFL's pretty much like a Bruce, runs like a Bruce Arians type offense to a point. You just gotta go ahead and find the good parts. So that's pretty much another big thing to go ahead and worry about. It's just, overall, whenever someone goes ahead and goes off like that every once in a while, it's, like I said, overall, it's a scary thing to worry about. Like, overall, it's scary enough to go ahead and worry about one thing. It's just, when you're worrying about, like, a few others, I'm not sure how you go ahead and react to that. I can go ahead and tell you that when people go ahead and just seem to go and walk up, it's just, the situation can be real. Oh, well, I'm not gonna really go ahead and go too much about it. And I can also go ahead and tell you that another guy you have to go ahead and worry about that could go off in Week 12, like, maff going ahead and breaking the record is pretty much putting the finishing touches on his record is going to be bad enough. But having to deal with math to another point could get pretty crazy. And it can get really crazy because you see, math has basically had a kind of fallback here, but despite that, the Hall of Famer has really gone ahead and showed his consistency. Listen, overall, he's also on the Titans offense, and basically they went ahead and got some good free agent acquisitions in the mid-season. I mean, Tears, Lokups, and Dell are no jokes. I can tell you this though. So overall, getting those guys, that's basically that's scary enough. So overall, adding a few other additions to an offense that could end up being crazy or better, you don't know. We don't know what to expect. So, I can tell you that if math can go ahead and go off in week 7, in the season finale, this could be good news. So yeah. So if math really goes ahead and can go off, like he only has 731 receiving yards. 269 receiving yards is basically all that he needs, and he is capable of doing that, as he has went ahead and he did originally own the record of pretty much most catches pretty much by and receiving yards pretty much by a receiver, and that was with 24 catch. These were the records that math broke. So if you ask me, well, yeah. Well, if you guys went ahead and enjoyed this, please go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. We'll see you next time.